So this meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Here.
Freeholder Jones.
Here.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder Siebel.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Here.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Please stand for the salute of the flag. I'm going to ask that Freeholder Toro lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and remember all those that have been lost. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Yes, Madam President. There are transcripts for the board meeting December the 10th, 2014, and January 21st, 2015. Conference board meeting December 18th, 2014. Special board meeting December the 29th, 2014. And organization meeting January 1st, 2015.
Okay. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments on the transcripts? Okay, hearing none, freeholders will take all 5 transcripts together as one. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder
Second.
Siebold, seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, yes. There is a topic of discussion. It's the presentation of the 2014 annual report by the Executive Director, Deborah Collins, Esquire, of the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action.
Okay. Mr. Ciallella, can you please introduce Ms. Collins to make her report?
Yes, if I can invite Ms. Collins up to the table. We're pleased to announce the 2014 Small Business Development Annual Report that will be delivered this evening by Ms. Deborah Collins, and I'll turn it over to Deborah right now.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders. For the record, I'm Deborah Collins, Director of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action for the County of Essex, and it is my pleasure to deliver to you our 2014 annual report, which also includes fourth quarter results. You have before you the document and its appendices, I believe, and if not, I'll wait until you receive them.
Here you.
Okay, Ms. Collins, you can proceed.
Thank you. By way of background, on October 31st, 2005, the County of Essex published the first ever Essex County Disparity Study. In so doing, the county became the first and only county in the state of New Jersey ever to publish such a document. Not only to publish one, but to conduct, complete, and disseminate it as part of the county's process of determining whether or not its contracting and procurement processes are fair and even-handedly applied. And I give you a little bit more background on page 1. I won't spend a lot of time on it, except to say that from the disparity study flowed a set of recommendations which we call our initiative to ensure that small woman-owned and minority businesses have a full and fair opportunity to compete for contracts. Continuing in a tradition and making good on the county executive's promise, we appear before you this evening to present our results It's an account of our accomplishments for the year 2014, as well as achievements during the fourth quarter of the year, covering the period September 18th, 2014 through and including December 10th, 2014. I'll take you now to page 3 for overall monetary results and focus first and foremost on the year 2014. As it came to a close, the fourth quarter results were as follows. The County of Essex awarded a total of $15,292,126.54 in private contracts. At the bottom of the page, you have a footnote 3, which describes for you what we consider to be private contracts. The total dollar amount awarded to the vendors in our target population was $6,487,814.03. Minority business enterprises, or MBEs, received $2,057,971.06, or 13% of the spend. SBEs, or small business enterprises, were awarded $5,913,924.13, or 39%. And woman-owned business enterprises received $832,417.14, representing 5% of all private contracts awarded for the final quarter of 2014. You have a set of appendices, and at Appendix A, you will find fourth quarter contract awards for the period September 18, 2014 through December 10, 2014. And as is customary, we highlight several major contracts for you. And I refer you now to one in particular for no reason other than to give you an example of the kinds of contracts that we award in this particular category, and make reference now to the largest contract awarded to an SBE totaling $2,618,754, which went to Figon Electric for traffic signal and roadway improvements. Moving on, in the year 2014, for the entire year, the County of Essex spent a total of $142,059,919.42 in private contracts overall. Our records show that small woman-owned and minority vendors received $58,709,921.93, or 41% of the total spent last year. The data further indicate that small business enterprises received $53,270,816, there should be a comma after that zero, $14, or 37%. Minority business enterprises received $10,253,381.26, or 7%. And woman-owned business enterprises received $8,298,470.02, or 6% of the total contract dollars awarded to this population. And there were several major public contracts awards last year. We mentioned a few of them. Bismarck, a construction corporation, for example, a vendor classified both as an MBE and an SBE, received the contract in the amount of $1,364,000 for restoration of the Lenape Trail at Branchwood Park in Newark. Moving on to page 4, and of course, if you go to Appendix B, you will see that we have set forth you all contracts approved for 2014 by this particular board. Contracts under $5,400, in this particular category, the average contract dollar amount for the fourth quarter of 2014 was $1,064.32. And just to give you an idea of some of the opportunities that are available in this particular category, we mentioned the following: respite care services, auto parts and service, locksmith equipment and supplies, and household and janitorial supplies. For a fuller listing of such contracts, please look at and review Appendix C. Contracts under $5,400 for the period December 19th, 2013 through December 10th, 2014. We do the same for the category of contracts between $5,400 and $17,500. And as a general rule, the contracts in this category include real estate appraising, sale of promotional items, catering, etc. At Appendix D, you have a listing of contracts between $5,400 and $17,500 for the period December 19th, 2013 through December 10th, 2014. Now, as you may know, when the county conducted a disparity study back in 2004, 2005, it did not, in fact, oblige us to look at subcontracts. However, we have decided to do so, working in conjunction with the Public Works Department. So we mentioned here a couple of major projects and some goals that have been established on them, in this case set by the federal government or the Department of Transportation. So if you look at paragraph 2 on page 5, you'll note that the Federal Highway Administration assigned a 12% DBE or Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Participation Goal to the South Orange Avenue Traffic Operations and Roadway Improvement Project. To date, however, we've received from our Public Works colleagues the information that this particular project is already at 18.4% of participation by women-owned and minority businesses. At Appendix E, you will find a subcontractor log listing all participants on the project. Moving on to page 6, in 2014, I mentioned to you, and as I did earlier today at an Affirmative Action Subcommittee meeting, that we were challenged by this board to put together a list of contracts that vendors were awarded as a consequence of their having participated in many of our events. Our outreach efforts are indeed very important to us, and as a matter of principle, we decided it was a great thing to do as well. And what we discovered was that since the opening of our office in December 2005, 65 vendors have won contract awards as a direct result of their participation in and networking at our outreach events. The total number of contracts awarded was 806, with a dollar value of $6,631,400.95. So if you look at Appendix G, you will find a listing of contracts awarded to vendors/contractors that have attended our events. And we're going to continue to maintain this list, as we think it's very good data and interesting, not only interesting, but supports our efforts to ensure that the small business community becomes aware of what we are doing here at the County of Essex. Last year, we presented 20 workshops, and this number, by the way, does not reflect the number of workshops and seminars that we actually attend, where we continue to conduct outreach to vendors who may, in fact, not be familiar with the work that we're doing. In the area of technological progress, we revitalized our website. We give you the link to it for the benefit of the public. That web address is www.ecbizcenter.com. The Essex County Biz Center, or Small Business Development Resource Center and Reference Library, maintains a 500-book collection of works specific to entrepreneurship. There are 3 computer terminals, and we also make the space available to home-based businesses that would like to hold meetings there. In fact, with the assistance of Freeholder Johnson, we have in fact invited local organizations to use the space, and they've done so. We want to encourage the public to continue to utilize this space. Since the launch of our revitalized website, new visitors have constituted about 25% of the number who have actually visited the site. There were 1,733 such hits to the site for the year 2014. At the bottom of page 6, you'll see that one of our additional goals is to extend our outreach to individuals, groups, and organizations in order to expand our network of small women-owned and minority businesses. We were very fortunate last year to be able to tape 5 separate interviews that aired on radio station WBLS, home of the Steve Harvey Show. Very delighted to be able to, again, spread the news about a financial literacy program that we launched last year. We won't be launching it again this year, but we expect to have a workshop or 2 on the topic because we know it's critical to the population that we serve. Moving on to page 7, I want to talk to you a little bit about our efforts to train in areas that we think are critical for the growth of our business. We host OSHA, or Occupational Safety, Health and Association Administration workshops. OSHA 10, OSHA 30, we've done that several times this year. We'll hold 2 OSHA workshops as well. They are free to the public, and we encourage you to share this information with your constituents. In addition to that, we continue to not only monitor the participants who completed our Essex County Bonding Readiness Program, but to update that information, and we're very pleased to report, as of this writing, 113 contractors completed that Bonding Readiness Program. 43% of them were deemed bonded or bondable, and the total and bonding actual and potential combined amount is $13,940,000. We also build partnerships with groups and organizations that share the county's commitment to equal opportunity. Last year, we solidified our relationship with the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce based in Washington, D.C. And I was very, very pleased to report to this board that we actually received a call from API, Associated Press International, a reporter out in California who was so interested in the work that we were doing that they wrote an article about it to encourage other counties and governmental entities across the United States to be supportive of these efforts. So we're glad to be in the forefront of that movement as well. Last but not least, we continue to foment partnerships and build upon partnerships already established right here in the County of Essex. We've done so by establishing a relationship with the Rutgers Business School. We will sit down with business owners one-on-one. We do it frequently to go over their business plans. In fact, I was a judge on a panel of judges that served to not only go over business plans through Rutgers Business School, but to give feedback around how the business plan might actually lead to continued growth for business owners. We're very proud of that work. In fact, so many business owners come to us and say, but for the fact that we do offer this one-on-one training or one-on-one assistance, they would not have been able to grow their businesses. So we like a hands-on approach. We very much appreciate your support in all that we do. We welcome you to invite us to speak to your constituents. Once again, referencing Freeholder Johnson, we have visited business owners with him, walking up and down Springfield Avenue, for example. It's the kind of thing we like to do to make business owners comfortable with the idea that we exist for the benefit of supporting their efforts. And last but not least, before I complete this report, I do want to give credit to my staff, Tammy Marshall, who is our office manager and all-too go-to person. If you've ever called my office, you've dealt with her. You know of her commitment. She also worked for a small business owner, who, by the way, happens to have a contract with the county. And to Jessica Valle, who's just joined us about a month ago as our new compliance manager. We'd like to take this opportunity as well to wish Samuel West Coleman, Sam West, if you're listening, we wish you all the best in your new opportunity at Rutgers, and we know that you'll do very well there and make us all proud. So this constitutes our annual report for 2014, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate your work and your report given. It's clear that the county has a true desire to ensure that our affirmative action and our small business, department is doing the work, and also wants to improve. But we do have an affirmative action committee, which is made up of myself as the chair, Freeholder Wayne Richardson, Freeholder Johnson, and Freeholder Libby Jones. And we have been meeting, and we had a wonderful meeting today in which you were present for. And first I want to say to the public that I am for everyone, no matter what your creed is, your religion, your ethnicity, or your culture. However, the topic of discussion right now is affirmative action, so I need to take a moment to comment on affirmative action, women and small minority-owned businesses. One moment, please. Okay, so in 2005, a firm was hired to analyze the effectiveness of the county agencies, as Ms. Collins was pointing out, in securing services of qualified minority and women-owned firms that provide construction-related, professional, and procurement of goods and services. This study was designed around 5 basic questions. 1, are there racial, ethnic, or gender disparities between the availability and utilization of qualified business firms doing business within Essex County? it was found that yes, this discrimination exists. This was found on page 23 of the disparity study. Question 2 was, what are the possible explanations for the disparities found? And there were 5 reasons given on page 25. 1 was discrimination in the award of contracts through the bid processes. 2, different access to information about bid opportunities, different access to loans and or bonding, and 4, discriminatory barriers to self-employment, and 5, size and capacity of firms. Question number 3 is there discrimination in the contract awards or the bidding process in Essex County? It was found, and I quote from the disparity study, that yes, disparities are partly explained by discriminatory access to bid opportunities. The disparity of black firms seems to be largely a reflection of the fact that there are actively competing for very small contracts and are virtually excluded from bidding on large lucrative contracts. That's on page 27. Question number 4 is, does the County of Essex passively engage in practices that result in disparities? I quote again from the disparity study that it said, I quote, if we have controlled for all relevant factors contributing to the determination of the contract award, we can interpret that the unexplained gap as the result is as the result of racial discrimination, page 28. Question number 5 of the basis of the study is, what range of remedies is legally defensible and economically justified in light of the report's finding? And there were 3 main things that were found as possible solutions. 1 being an institutional redesign to improve communication and trust with local businesses. From what I hear tonight and from Ms. Collins' report, the county has been doing that, and we as a committee feel that that is something that has been happening. You are going out to communicate with local businesses, and in the future, we will add to that by bringing in churches and all other chambers of commerce, to make it a more robust program. Number 2, as a solution, is accountability protocols that track, monitor, and keep records of any remedies designed and implemented to redress discriminatory disparities to ensure that the remedies actually achieve the desired goals effectively and efficiently. We also, as a committee, feel as though, yes, you have been doing these things. You obviously have a system in which you are tracking. You are able to tell us how many people out of the programs that you run and the training programs have now received contracts, and that is evidence that you are starting to track, or you have been tracking and monitoring and keeping records. Number 3 is race-neutral and race-conscious programs that offer and promise of improving the share of dollars going to underrepresented groups and fostering their growth and development while also meeting legal standards of strict scrutiny and narrow tailoring. So we as the committee do feel as though the county is lacking in this area and that there is room for improvement, so we have put together some suggestions. There was an institutional redesign, however, that in the disparity report on page 30 that talks about 10 things about how we can reform. And it talks about open and transparent processes and practices, outreach, efficiency by avoiding economic distortions, interdependency, acknowledge the linked consequences of economic, social, and environmental responses to expanding access to minority and all women-owned businesses. Number 7 is equity, equal opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses and small businesses to participate in economic focus and achievable, building quick, early wins. Encouragement of private sector investment banks and major corporate vendors as mentors and joint venture partners to small firms. 9, successful leadership requires focus, drive, and simplicity. And 10, build an evaluation and monitoring process into the program from the beginning. So it's great that you all again have been doing some of these things, but in the area of focus regarding in the disparity report suggestion number 3, question 5 regarding how to remedy the disparity, we would like to implement, and we are suggesting the implementation of a special set-aside pilot program for minority, small, and women-owned businesses. Small, women, and minority-owned businesses often lack cash flow to be competitive enough to win bids. A solution to this problem can be found within the nonprofit housing sector in Essex County. New Jersey Community Capital, I'm going to tell you about the organization. New Jersey Community Capital is a nonprofit community development financial institution. In recent years, they have become a lending innovator of strategies to propel the recovery from the foreclosure crisis, including the large-scale acquisition and rehabilitation of abandoned properties and bulk purchase and modification of large pools of non-performing mortgages. New Jersey Community Capital has a nonprofit subsidiary called CAPC, Community Asset Preservation Corporation. CAPC is the actual developer for all of the projects. Together, NJCC, I'm going to speak in acronyms now, and CAPC are working all over the country purchasing and bulk rehabilitating properties. CAPC is mainly based in Newark, where they also serve as Newark's master developer. Because NJCC and CAPC serve urban communities, they are often mandated by municipalities to implement affirmative action on their sites. Facing the same issues that are said to cause minority enterprise and small business and women enterprise disparities at the County of Essex, CAPC rises above these issues and manages to find qualified, real, small, and minority-owned women businesses, contractors to work with. CAPC does this by implementing a strategy described what I call as incrementally pay often and pay on time. This strategy consists of paying each minority contractor 20% up front to begin the job. Then the money is released in draws of 20% as the work progresses. For example, if a small woman-owned business wins a bid, CAPC pays them 20% in the form of a down payment to begin the project. Once 20% of the work is completed, CAPC releases another 20%. After 40% is completed, CAPC releases another 20%. After 60% is completed, CAPC releases, guess what? Another 20%. After 80% is completed, CAPC releases the final 20%, which carries the contractor to 100% completion of the project. CAPC takes this approach because they understand that part of their mission to use companies that are representative of Black and brown communities and also small women-owned businesses they serve. They understand the number one thing that separates contracting opportunities from minority-owned businesses is cash flow. Many minority-owned companies do not have the ability to float a project, or even small businesses, women-owned businesses, do not have the ability to float a project solely financially carrying the project from start to finish without receiving financial compensation along the way. Furthermore, New Jersey Community Capital and CAPC implement this strategy while likened to Essex County, they care a great deal about how funds are spent. Much of their budget is a result of grants made up by taxpayers. Likened to government bodies, both CAPC and NJCC, both nonprofits, have budgets and expenses that are openly scrutinized and placed on public display. NJCC and CAPC ensure that their strategy to expand the use of women and minority-owned and small businesses reflect cost-effective practices over the long term, while keeping in mind the good of the public at large, which is something that the disparity study suggested that reflective, cost-effective practices over the long term is something that the disparity suggested that we come up with in lieu of the issue. CAPC has mechanisms in place to monitor and ensure accountability and responsibility are maintained. These mechanisms include, but are not limited to, asking a director of construction services to track the progress of each contractor and process payment based upon consistent construction progress of each contractor. Current Essex County payment policies hinder women, small, and minority-owned businesses from really being competitive. Contractors are expected to float the project for the entire duration of 30 days until 30 days after the completion of the project. Floating a contract includes purchasing supplies, insurances, while paying for manpower each day. As the disparity study points out, there are not many women, small, and minority-owned contractors that have the cash flow to do this. We request that Essex County, adopts some form of within the legal structure of an incrementally pay often and pay on time, strategically by way of a pilot, while following the guidelines of the disparity study and the institutional design outline. After learning about the issue of cash flow with women, small, and minority-owned businesses faced, one might think, if cash flow and the ability to float a project is the issue, then why doesn't the business just go out and get a small business loan to carry the project through? Well, this would be a logical thought, except according to the disparity report, page 193, paragraph 3, states that credit history emerged as the main reason for denial amongst all groups, but particularly amongst blacks. More than 1/3 of all black loans are denied due to credit history. Page 193, paragraph 6 says, we then took those loans and determined how much of an impact bad credit had on denials. We determined that although bad credit is a significant factor, particularly among gaps, there is a gap between denial rates for whites and other groups that cannot be explained and is not linked to credit. In other words, blacks and other minority groups are more likely to be denied for loans than whites, and evidence does not explain why. Page 194, paragraph 2. So what do these findings tell us about access to credit markets and, by extension, the presence of passive discrimination in marketplace? Minority populations, and particularly blacks, do find less access to credit markets as illustrated by their overall denial rates, and some of this access is the result of discrimination in that market. So Essex County is clearly serious about solving the disparity issue. If it were not so, our skilled county executive, the Honorable Joseph DiVincenzo, would not have ever agreed to hire a firm to uncover the disparity and discrimination that exists within qualified small women and minority-owned firms that have the potential to provide construction-related professional and procurement goods of services. Furthermore, I think it's important for the record to point out that this disparity report did not say that there is direct, open, discrimination as far as there's somebody there that's saying she's a woman, she's not getting the contract. That is not what this report is saying. It's not, what it's saying is that there is something that is called, the term is called passive discrimination. So there are some policies that are in place that because they exist, they will automatically knock out a lot of people and discriminate upon those small women and minority-owned businesses. So, however, I believe that this disparity gap can be closed. The Affirmative Action Committee is formally asking the administration to implement a solid piloted initiative that will build a track record of small women and minority-owned business success while meeting legal standards of strict scrutiny and narrow tailoring in the County of Essex. Thank you.
I will defer to the county administrator and our county council to respond to Madam President's request on behalf of the Board of Chosen Freeholders.
Ralph Cialella, County Administrator. As we discussed at our Affirmative Action Committee meeting earlier this afternoon, we will take that under advisement. We will present that to our council. I believe Mr. Polavecchio also volunteered to work with our county council to look at some of those initiatives that we could put forth. And those where there are obstacles, look to solutions to get around some of those obstacles in a legal manner, but at the same token, keeping the eye on the prize, and that is opening up business to local firms. Small women and minority business is the goal of this administration, and we're glad to partner with this Freeholder Board to enhance this program.
Thank you. Freeholders, are there any questions or comments? Freeholder Gill? Vice President Gill?
So, thank you. I have just a quick couple of questions, and definitely interested to hear more about this request, so I can understand it a little bit better. But just a couple of questions through you, Madam President, on the actual disparity study itself. When we did the first study in 2005, was there a time frame put on when we should do one again?
No, there was not.
Is through you, Madam President, is there a need to do another study again, or to freshen that data to even inform more of the decisions that we're making now on our hiring practices?
We would submit that the study was accomplished in 2005. That's 9 years ago. We have quarterly reports for every year up to and including 2014. that document our progress. We have been successful in initiating race-neutral remedies, and where we are still facing challenges or opportunities, we're open to creative suggestions. But again, unless the administration feels that there's a need to conduct another study, then our position would be that we are following the recommendations that flow from it, and we are making significant progress, as evidenced by the fact that, first of all, we are still the only county in the state of New Jersey ever to have conducted a study, to open an office such as this one, to have graduated 113 people from a bonding readiness program, to have awarded over $6 million in 9 years to 65 contractors, and I can go on and on and on. By any measure, compared to any other governmental entity, not only in this state, but I dare say in others, we have more than achieved what the disparity study set forth for us, but we recognize that we are continually looking to putting Essex County first, so there's more to be done, and we will do over and above what the study has recommended, which is why we capture subcontractor goals. I don't know if the administrator would like to add anything, but that would be our response.
Through you, Madam President, not at this point.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Siebel?
I'm sorry, I have a follow-up question. I wasn't done.
Oh, Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. In this, and I guess I understand there was a subcommittee meeting today on this particular issue, but I know we've had people before the board, not only last year, but even the first few meetings this year to raise the issue around, I think, a goal that we all share to make sure that we are doing our best to meet what this study told us we need to do. I did have the question, as we have some of the larger projects that are coming down, and this might be something maybe that should be discussed in a subcommittee meeting, but the larger projects that are on the verge of happening, do we evaluate those projects and combine them with the outreach that we do in terms of trying to encourage more minority and women-owned participation in that process? So, for example, if we have a larger, like a school that's coming, that potentially is might be built, it might be one of the largest expenditures that the county will make. Do we incorporate that specifically into the outreach that we're doing in the community on the front end of that process? So rather than, I guess my question is, we have people who come up before us at these meetings, and then we ask them during the course of these meetings when we're already voting on the contract itself. So I would just be interested to see if we're doing that and how much we can do that legally, what we're allowed to do, when we have that process. And then finally, this will be my last question, also, if there were a wish list for your office, in terms of additional resources of things that you would like to be able to do, and even if some of those things cost money, what would they be?
To your first question, and then I will turn the mic over to County Administrator. At a Public Works meeting, I'm sure our County Administrator recalls this, I put your first question squarely to the County Executive and said that on the upcoming school project, we recommend an outside monitor to ensure that there is the participation of minorities and women on the project, and he said absolutely. So that goes without saying. What will happen, and I'll speak more about it going forward, but what will happen is that we'll publish a request for proposals to actually find the most qualified, ready, willing, and able contractor to monitor that project, because we don't have the resources in-house to do so. Mr. County Administrator.
Just to add to that, the new proposed vocational school will be a project that the vocational school will contract out. But we did indicate, and we are pretty satisfied that a outside monitor will be a contractor to oversee that project, similar to the large correctional facility that was built here in Essex County. We had an outside monitor to monitor not only the subs, the primes, the workforce, as we also did with our psychiatric hospital. We had an outside monitor to monitor the goals of the project, and we envision that same process to take place with the new high school proposed.
In response to your second question, we can always use more resources, but let me say this. I'm so very proud of this fact, we are very heavily networked. You'll hear more about that going forward. We actually are we're about to launch a pilot mentoring program, and we're going to be partnering with the likes of Turner Construction and others whose names I won't put forward at this time. We're actually going to have a focus group on March 6th with very well-established business owners interested in such a program. It's always great to have people in-house, but we're very widely networked because people come to us. They hear about what we do, and they are anxious to support what we do. We're also going to be partnering with Goldman Sachs 10,000 businesses for those business owners who say to us, yes, you work with startups and you work for those going concerns that want to do business with the county, but what about us? We're in Essex County too. So in response to your question, in-house, yes, that would be great, but as long as we can continue to get support for the networking and outreach that we do, I think we're in pretty good shape. And we are delighted, by the way, to have Jessica Valle with us. She has tremendous experience from Cushman & Wakefield, excellent Excel skills, worked for a small business owner. Her father has an engineering firm. And you use the resources that you have. We're lean, but lots of other departments are lean too. And so that does not stop us. We just, I think, are very fortunate to have we have access directly to the county executive and to the county administrator to say, and I did this last year, Mr. County Administrator, I need another $25,000 because I want to put out an RFP to create a financial literacy program. Never skipped a beat. You got it. And as long as we have that kind of support internally and the support of this board, people who come to us like Freeholder Johnson and say, listen, come out and speak, or like Freeholder Jones who says, come out and speak to our various groups, then we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I think I just want to mention again that we have, if I were to leave tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere, but if I were to leave tomorrow, we have documented over the last 9 years, binders and binders of every single thing we have done. Anyone who is committed and wants to work hard can come in and pick up where we left off. So I say that to say sometimes it's not just bodies. You have to have the right people in place. And as the Madam President heard this afternoon, Madam President, and those who were there at the meeting, you have to have people who don't just see this as a numbers game. Jessica Valle, I'm quoting you now, she said, this is more than numbers to me. I've lived this my entire life. I'm committed, and that's where we're coming from. But thank you for your concern, and no, I won't turn down extra help.
Freeholder Seabold?
Thank you. I was a freeholder before the disparity study took place. I was a freeholder before Deborah Collins was hired. We have come a long way from where we were before, and Deborah has done an excellent job. I'm not saying that we can't move even further ahead, but Deborah has done a terrific job being the director of the
Thank you.
Small Business Development and Affirmative Action Department. And Deborah has many seminars and many workshops, and I've gone to many of them, and I would encourage everyone to go as much as possible because it's really wonderful to see Deborah actually at work with people who want to do business with Essex County. And I'm seeing more and more people who want to have contracts with Essex County. And I think it's wonderful that we are moving in that direction even more under Deborah's leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Seabold, and for your continued support. I mean, you are always at our events, you greet our audience, you encourage them, and this means a great deal to them. We tell them that while the county administrator signs the contracts, they have to be approved by this board. So it's important for them to see the faces of the people who are, in fact, responsible for voting and approving contracts. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments?
Got one on the other side.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one more follow-up, and again, would echo the comments of Freeholder Siebold in terms of the job that you've done, and there's no doubt in my mind that I know because I have sent people to your office the type of service that you deliver. So you should be commended, for that. It just again, and I'll come back into the school. So we have a monitor who will help assist that to make sure that we're doing that. And then, is there an opportunity? Do we do any additional outreach? I guess if the monitor comes back and says we need to do more, what happens at that point? How do we handle that within the process? Because again, when I think of a project of that magnitude, it's a great opportunity. Maybe not for a prime, but definitely for subcontractors and others. Great opportunity for them to be a part of that work. And I guess my question is twofold: is one, how do we do that legally within the the confines of the law to make sure that, which has been talked about here as a general policy rule, that people who are going to be on that specific job or the workers across the board are going to be reflective of the diversity that we want to, that exists in this county. We want to see that diversity exist and the actual people who are going to build that project. So, a little two-part question. One, what do we do when the monitor comes back? And even before the monitor, with a project of that size, is there anything else that we could be doing to make sure that we're getting the word out that this work is out there for specific types of companies to bid on?
A lot of this is making sure that we go to other events as well. Just case in point, just happened today. I actually sit on the Essex County WIB Board, which is now a combined Newark and WIB Board, and Dexter Hendricks, who's with Turner Construction, was there and said, listen, we've got this project going in Newark, and we're talking to the unions, and what we know we need to do is offer math classes because there's going to be a math test. There's an opportunity right there. If I hadn't been there, I wouldn't know that. That's going to go up on our website. We're going to work. I went right up to Dexter and said, how do we help? How do we get in on this? This is not something that we pull out from the nothingness. We literally go back to our business owners after every single seminar and say, okay, what did we do right? What didn't we get right? What do you need? We will present what you need. So that's one thing. We certainly are going to keep our ear to the ground to make sure that we're helping to get, I wouldn't have known that, but for the fact that I went to that meeting today. So when the subcontractor comes back and says, okay, we need X, Y, or Z, which often happens, and thank you for allowing me to mention that on March 6th, Marge Perry, I don't normally give the name, but Marjorie Perry of MCM Construction is going to lead a workshop on construction management practices, best practices. The timing couldn't be better as we get ready to work on this huge project, and we already have very good registration for that. So we understand what's coming down the pike because we sit in on the county's public works meetings, and then we start planning. What do we need to do to get people ready so that there's a pipeline? We know they need OSHA 10. I said to our OSHA trainer, is OSHA 30 what people need? He says, no, because that's really for kind of inspectors, and you need to get more people with OSHA 10 certification so that they can get onto the work site. I didn't know that. I know it now. And as a consequence, we'll be offering more OSHA 10 programs. So we take the feedback from them because they are the subject knowledge experts. We are not, and we defer to their judgment when they recommend to us what we need to do in response to their findings.
Got it.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Toro.
I have a comment simply that I am in full support of this new initiative and pilot. I know it was one of your campaign platforms, and I applaud the whole committee, Affirmative Action, for doing so and working so hard on it. But also I want to bring to light that I believe it brings our numbers up in economic development, which is the committee that I chair, and I have a meeting with you next week. So, look forward to how we're going to tie it all together, working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Toro. It's interesting that you should say that because today we spoke about how, when we are showing more support and finding innovative ways to make it so that more women, small, minority-owned businesses and contractors can get work, that kind of, gut punches the unemployment rate. By giving that kind of opportunity, and unemployment is a serious issue. So thank you, and thank you again for the Freeholder Richardson.
Yeah, I was just sitting here, thank you, Madam Chair. Just, you brought up Turner Construction, which is a major developer around the country. They do a lot of huge work. And as we talk about this pilot program and these kinds of things, Turner would be an excellent partner to mentor some of these smaller contractors who don't have the cash flow that they do. So if, you know, we could have those conversations with Turner around a pilot project that they can be the paymasters on for these smaller contractors to get them on these jobs and then to give them these opportunities through affirmative action and these small minority business opportunities, I think they would be an excellent partner. I think we need to start looking at that as we talk about this pilot program as well. I'm glad you have that relationship with them and you sit on that board. So I think there's some symmetry here where we can really create this pilot program as Turner has money longer than train smoke.
That's a great idea, and we will pursue it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, Freeholders? Well, thank you so much for the administration. You all have been extremely,
pleasure.
Respectful to our request, and it wasn't easy combing through a 300-plus page document, but this is something that I take very serious, and I hope that we will see these initiatives and the pilot program succeed in some way or form under the letter of the law. So with that said, Freeholder Johnson.
I would like to commend you on the job well done and going through it and coming up with some of the questions and some of the even solutions to it. So I have to commend you on the work you've done on it.
Thank you, Freeholder Johnson. So we're going to move on to public comment on agenda items. Now, these are for agenda items only, and for the members of the public who are hearing, Ms. Collins, thank you so much. And for the members of the public who are hearing this evening, who are here this evening, and for those at home watching TV, tonight's meeting is a board meeting, and we are going to vote on items on our agenda. So that's why you'll hear us voting constantly. These items on the agenda were discussed in great detail at last week's meeting, except for resolution number 8 and 43, which have been withdrawn by the administration. So at this point, on agenda items only, if there's any member from the public who wishes to come up and speak, please do so. You'll have 3 minutes. State your name and affiliation. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, let the member. Hearing none, let the record reflect that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Now, if there's any members of the public who wish to comment on any issue, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record. Again, you will have a total of 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Tom Purrier. I'm the president of the Oranges and Maplewood NAACP. I was sent here this evening because of Ms. Collins. We were told of Ms. Collins' report. We are concerned about the lack of diversity that has been going on. Madam President and the board, I'm very pleased to hear what you said this evening and looking forward to the follow-up. My concern, however, is when will Ms. Collins' report be in the public domain, and can copies be obtained without filing an open report?
It's public, so you can just contact the clerks.
Okay, we will give you that answer in writing. Ms. Collins did step out.
It belongs to us now.
Okay. Yes, we'll get you that answer in writing. Ralph, is there any way that maybe Ms. Collins can come back just in case?
We'll try.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to comment on any issue at all? Please state your name and affiliation. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Madam President and the freeholders and the staff. My name is Joy Freeman. And my address, you said?
No.
Oh,
Name and affiliation.
I'm from Weekway Park Sports Authority, the executive director. And I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunities that we have moving forward. We're looking forward to working with the county and the freeholders as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak at this time on any issue at all? Okay. I just want to say that at last meeting's public comment session, Mr. Douglas Freeman stated that a voting machine used in the South Wards District 22 broke down twice in the most recent election, and that poll workers were being blamed for discrepancies in the machine versus paper counts when the fault lies within the machine. He also asked that steps be taken to ensure that the same machine is not used in the upcoming April school board election. So we sent out a memo on the 6th, and the response was received on the 11th, okay? And that has been confirmed for Mr. Freeman, who is here again with us in the audience. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect there's no one wishing to speak on any other issues. And I see that we have no ordinance for introduction and first reading. And I also see that we have no ordinance for introduction, first reading to be listed for a future meeting. And I also see that we have no ordinances on second reading and public hearing for tonight's meeting. So let's move to resolution number 2 through 14. For the sake of clarity, resolutions 1 and 7 were withdrawn by the administration at last week's meeting, and resolutions 8 was withdrawn by the administration this week. These resolutions are advice and consent and nominations for appointments to the local advisory board, the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Madam Clerk, please read them.
Okay. Resolution 2, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Martice Streichas to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution number 3, advise and consent for nomination for the appointment of Bernice Taylor Jones to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 4, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Nicole Graves Watson to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 5, advise and consent for the nomination of the appointment of Donna Kurtzner to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution number 6, advise and consent for the nomination for the appointment of Henry D. Muhammad Hamilton to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution number 9, advise and consent for the nomination of Lisa Joseph to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 10, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Ming Montello to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 11, nomination for the appointment of Pascal Augustin to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 13, advise and consent for the nomination of Mark Ackerman to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse. Resolution 14, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Louis Garley to the local advisory committee on alcohol and drug abuse.
Thank you. And I think I'm going to read this one first. Resolutions 1 through 14. Freeholder Levy Jones asked Director Utsing to make, I'm messing up names, excuse me, to make her aware whenever grants become available for which Justine? Okay. Freeholder Levy Jones asked Director Justine to make her aware whenever grants become available for which municipalities might also apply. A memo was sent on the 6th, and the response received on the 11th. Okay. Mr. Ciallella, as you know, we met with all the nominees last week, except for Ms. Joseph, and I understand that she's here with us tonight. Can you please explain her nomination and introduce her to us?
Madam President, the administration is pleased to invite Ms. Lisa Joseph up to the microphone for a member of the Advisory Committee on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, and her term will run through December 31st, of 2016. If I could have her come up to the microphone and introduce herself and give her a little background on her experiences.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Joseph. I am a graduate of Rutgers University with a Bachelor of Science in Public Health. I also have a concentration in public health education as well as addictions prevention. I currently serve as the regional organizer for the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Team, which is a coalition in Essex County of people who are dedicated to reducing underage drinking and substance abuse in the county. I serve as the regional organizer who is in charge of their regional youth leadership teams, and our teams are funded through the Drug-Free Communities Grant, which is funded by the Office of National Drug Control Policy. And through this grant, we are able to do initiatives in the county to bring awareness about prescription drug abuse or underage drinking and driving to community members in the county.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Joseph? Freeholder Siebold?
I would just say that I'm so happy that someone who is so qualified is willing to give her time and energy to such an important committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Second that. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholders, Libby Jones?
The discrepancy that the grant for the artistic part at Irvington for what I'm saying, it was a grant in terms of helping people, I can't give you the particular name, that the discrepancy was Irvington received what was it, $6,800 as opposed to Montclair?
Oh, no, I think it was like 52,000 to over
Whatever
100
it
or
was.
something like
I don't
that.
recall the number, but I know it was asked as to how did it arrive at that particular number.
Different issue.
Are you,
It's a different,
Mr. Polavecchio?
I just think that's further down on the agenda.
yeah.
Okay.
This is just the advice and consent.
Yes, this is just an advice of consent, so we're gonna, you can stand back up, Ms. Joseph. You got tired of standing? Don't worry, that's all right, Freeholder Jones. So freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to take
Second.
resolutions 2 through 14, except resolutions 7 and 8 together as one? Moved by Freeholder Siebold, seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel? Yes. Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones? Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Congratulations, Ms. Joseph.
Thank you.
And to all your fellow nominees, we wish them well, and thank you for being here tonight. So we had an opportunity to meet you. Okay, Madam Clerk, resolutions 15, 16, and 17 were voted on last week, so let's move to resolution number 18. Please read it. And again, to the members of the public, we're here tonight, or watching at home. If we're appearing to move quickly through the program, it's because we already discussed these issues at last week's meeting, and this one is a meeting in which we're just voting on.
Resolution 18, Office of the County Council Professional Services Agreement to provide legal representation in labor matters for Essex County. Genova Burns, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, $200,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
Move.
Moved
Second.
by Freeholder Siebold, seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Mr. Polavecchio, actually, do you have any comments or questions?
No, this along with some others, this one in particular, there was a representative from the law firm who went into some detail about the nature of this contract. But no further questions.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones? Yes. Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel? Yes. Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Can you please move to resolution number 19 and read, Ms. Clerk?
Resolution number 19, Office of the County Council, Professional Services Agreement to provide special outside counsel services on various construction projects, issues, Connell Foley, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, $75,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions?
No questions.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel. Yes. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Please, let's move on to Resolution 20. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 20, Office of the County Council Professional Services Agreement regarding the collection of unpaid fines and penalties for various environmental violations imposed by the County Department of Health and its authorized subcontractor agencies, Puro, Zena, Cifelli, Paris, Genetempo, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015.
Okay, freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments?
Just to remind the board that this, there's no cost associated with this particular resolution because it is actually revenue generating, and the firm will only receive a percentage of that which they collect.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, please, let's move on to Resolution number 21.
Resolution 21, Office of the County Council Professional Services Agreement to provide county adjuster investigations for 2015. Richard Childs, CPA, CFE, $35,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have a motion and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Seconded by Freeholder Jones. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Freeholders, any questions, comments?
How about
Mr. McInerney? No questions. Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's move on to Resolution number 22. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 22, Office of County Council Professional Services Agreement to provide legal services regarding County Corrections Officers PBA Local Number 382 et al. Versus County of Essex County et al. Wolf Sampson, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, $50,000.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments? I got used to you being away for a second there. I forgot to ask you that on the other ones. Okay, hearing none. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Roll call, Freeholder Jones? No. No? Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read Resolution 23.
Resolution 23, Office of County Council Professional Services Agreement to provide legal services regarding K. Hanavian Companies Northeast versus County of Essex and Essex County Improvement Authority et al., Dakotas, Fitzpatrick and Cole, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, $80,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebold.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Freeholder Jones. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Mr. McInerney, do you have any?
None.
Hearing none. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel. Yes. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Please read, Madam Clerk, resolution number 24.
Resolution 24, Office of the County Council Professional Services Agreement to provide legal services regarding New United Corporation versus County of Essex and Essex County Improvement Authority, Lum, Drasco, Positano, and this is January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, $55,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebel,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Mr. McInerney?
Again, do you think this is the last time we're going to see a contract with this firm?
Through you, Madam
related to
President.
this
Yes.
issue?
Through you, Madam President, this will wrap up the final contract to this firm regarding this matter, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please move to resolution number 25 and read?
Resolution 25, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of the county's commercial property insurance policy for the Essex County Correctional Facility with affiliated FM Insurance Company for the period January 1st, 2015 through January 1st, 2016 at the annual premium of $398,420.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do I have a motion and a second? Freeholders?
Move it.
Motion by Freeholder Wayne Richardson,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Gill. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, Vice President Gill. You don't have any questions? No?
No, I
Mr. McInerney?
Just to say that I did look at this, policy. The premiums are up 6%, but we did double the amount of flood insurance coverage from $5 million to $10 million, so, that was good. Just wanted to
Okay.
comment.
Freeholders, any questions or comments?
Oh, gosh.
All right, hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yeah, 20, the next one is 20. After they get
All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. I would like to go back to resolution number 20 just for a little bit to address the concern. Freeholder Cynthia Toro had asked for the amount of outstanding debt, and Freeholder Luciano asked for the amount of reclaimed fines over the last few years. The memo was sent on the 6th of this month, and was it indeed received on the 11th?
Should be in their packet.
In your packet? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So moving along to resolution number 26. Madam Clerk, please read.
Okay. Resolution 26, Superintendent of Elections and Commissioner of Registration Contract Award with County Business System to provide printing of digitized poll books for 2015 and 2016, amount not to exceed $275,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Rufus Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Vice President Gill. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Please, let's move to resolution number 27 and read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 27, Department of Corrections, authorization to begin exporting electricity and implement a demand response plan through the county's approved facility operator, DCO Energy.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
Move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro,
I'll second it.
seconded by Freeholder Libby Jones. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Okay, Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments?
I do on this. I'd like to ask the administration, the 60% that we get in the revenues here, is that clean? All the other costs are picked up by DCO?
Through you, Madam President, it is a 60-40 split, you're correct. Our anticipated revenue is between $443,000 and $467,000. I believe that's an all-in number.
All right, so they pick up the cost and we just split the revenues.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Absent Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Okay. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Backtracking to resolution number 24, do we have a mover and a second? We may have, apparently we missed getting a mover and a second. You did. Moved by Freeholder Sebold.
We missed it, that's all.
Yeah. And who was it seconded by?
Toro?
I'll second it.
Okay, Freeholder Johnson. Yeah, we did it, and we voted, but they wanted to document it the right way. Okay, we're going to move on to resolution number 28. Madam Clerk, please read.
Resolution 28, Department of Health and Rehabilitation, Office of the Mental Health Administrator, approval of subgrant agreement with 5 service providers to provide mental health service for behavioral challenged youth and their caregivers, 1-year agreement, amount not to exceed $391 and $391,040.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Jones,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Toro. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions?
I don't.
Mr. McInerney, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. On resolution number 28, at the last meeting, Freeholder Libby Jones asked for a listing showing the number of clients served by each agency during the year. The memo was sent out on the 6th and response received on the 11th. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please move to and read number 29, resolution 29.
Okay. Resolution number 29, grant agreement and temporary emergency appropriation from the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for Community Service Block Grant, Division of Community Action, $316,518.
Yes. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
Moved by Freeholder Wayne Richardson. Second by Freeholder Gill. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
29, no, I don't.
Okay, Mr. McInerney? All right, well, at the last meeting, and I have some discrepancies that I need to publicly clear up, but before I get there, Freeholder Wayne Richardson asked why the agencies from Montclair and East Orange received so much more than the agency in Irvington, and for a report showing the number of clients served by each. Memo was sent out on the 6th and received on the 11th, and that's confirmed. Freeholder Jones asked how the amount of each award is determined. Response, a memo sent out on the 6th and response received on the 11th. Confirmed. Freeholder Counsel, Mr. Michael Polavecchio, asked that the department director be present at next week's meeting, which is today. Ms. CIALLELLA, is the department director present?
Yes, Mr. Brown is present. But I know we gave you a response in writing,
Yes.
but just to highlight it
I'll get
for
there.
the board. Primarily, the agencies had an opportunity to submit for varied services. Irvington declined to submit for housing counseling, financial literacy, and education and training. That's one reason why they received less money. The other reason is it's based on 2014 levels of service. Irvington serviced 189 individuals, Montclair Neighborhood 510, and East Orange serviced 638. So it's a combination of whether or not they applied for certain services and the actual service level of clients. We do have Maurice Brown here if there are any additional questions the board may have on these contracts.
Thank you. And I want to, please step forward, Mr. Brown. And while you do, I'm going to finish reading some of the freeholder comments. Myself, referring to alleged legal issues with the East Orange Community Development Corporation, and I asked that a representative of the agency attend this meeting, and I have to publicly say that that was not legal issues regarding the East Orange Community Development Corporation. That was East Orange Revitalization Development Corporation. And I need to clear that up because it is a nonprofit's pride and joy to walk in ethics and be ethical. And I just want to say that East Orange Community Development Corporation is an ethical organization and is walking in that. And Freeholder Vice President Brendan Gill asked that representatives of all agencies attend next week's meeting. So Mr. Brown, please go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Maurice Brown, Director of the Division of Community Action. Let me first apologize for not being here last week, but as you can tell, I'm still not quite over what kept me from being here last week. But with me tonight, I do have two of the executive directors of the three programs, Mr. Al Pelham from Montclair Community Development and Connie Crawford, Ms. Connie Crawford from East Orange Community Development. So they are both here if there's any questions regarding their agencies as it pertains to the CSBG. But our county administrator, Mr. Ralph Cialla, really said it all in the way that the money was dispersed, and you can see by the number of programs that each agency volunteered or selected.
Thank you. And can the representatives come to the microphone and introduce yourselves and talk about a little bit of the services that are going to be provided?
Good evening. I'm Connie Crawford, the CEO of East Orange Community Development Corporation. Many of the services we provided originated from the Economic Opportunity Act from 1964. We've increased those services. We provide services for our youth, after-school tutorial, summer enrichment day camp. We provide emergency services to the community with food, furniture, household items, especially our fire victims, and our emergency homelessness services that we provide on a daily, and information and referral, networking, employment opportunities, resume preparation, and just an array of services. We've been active in the community for 50 years, and I'm glad that was a mistake on that.
Yes. And can you state your name and affiliation again for the record?
Conchita Crawford, CEO.
Okay, you got it. All right, Ms. Crawford, just 1 second. I mean, you know, you're from my hometown, so you're East Orange Community Development Corporation. I know exactly where that is. That's right there on Main, right?
Right across from the
And
BBS.
I did attend a summer program. You all were doing a book bag giveaway, and there were
Yes.
some bikers there too that kind of collaborated. And you are an ethical organization. And again, I apologize for the confusion. It was just listed East Orange Community Development Corp, which is much likened to that other name.
Okay.
That you know. So thank you for being in the community and for walking in the ethics of nonprofit.
You're welcome, and I thank you.
You're from my hometown. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Sure. My name is Al Pelham. I'm the Executive Director of the Mountain Area Development Corporation. And like my counterpart, Ms. Crawford, we do numerous services. But I think a key point is that just because you're located in town, you serve the county. So if someone calls and they're getting ready to be put out, they're homeless, their lights are out, they call a list and you serve them. So while we are in Montclair, we serve the county of Essex, which I think is very important. So we run summer programs, which are open to, for 15 years, we run a program called Project Oasis, which is open to everybody within the county of Essex. We're also funded by the Community Development Block Grant. So we do tons of things. Our big focus is youth, and we run quite a few youth programs. Summer jobs that we get for young people. We have a program called Project Life where we deal with financial literacy and dressing for success, preparing our young people for the business world. So we do tons of things, referrals. Again, when the phone rings, people are looking for assistance. They're just calling the number and they're looking for help. And so that's our focus on helping everybody in the county of Essex.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pelham.
You're welcome.
And your program is indeed wonderful. I've participated in some things and will always be there to help. You do great work. Freeholders, do you have a motion in a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Gill, seconded by Freeholder Johnson.
Wait.
Is this just on
No, this is just 29. You want to take all three? We already have a mover in a second.
Do you want to take all three, 29 to 31?
32 is Montclair.
Yeah.
So which ones, guys?
29 through 32 would
30 is
be the
withdrawn.
grant and then the three counts.
So it'd be 29 through 32.
29 through 32. So we have a mover and a second already, which was Freeholder Vice President Gill and Freeholder Johnson.
Madam President, that was for 29. You're taking them together. Would you like me to read the others into the record at another time?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't 30 withdrawn by the administration?
30 has been withdrawn.
No, it was put back.
But,
That was the
but, yeah.
Oh, it's put back?
Yes.
Yes. So, Madam President, I read 29, and you would like me to read, we're taking 29 through 32 together, and you'd like me to read 31, Resolution 31, 30, 31, and 32 into the record at a later time.
Please, yes. So we already have a mover and a second. Mr. Polavecchio? Yes, same mover and second to take them off. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments?
No, not after. I appreciate the explanations that were given.
Yes, and Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments?
No comments. No
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. I do think that was an important raised point by Mr. Pelham in terms of the services offered countywide. So, I think the location is important, but I think also it's important to note that anyone in the county is eligible for those services at these locations. I think it's my hope that that the next time that this comes around, that we see not only the people that we see before us tonight, but even as it pertains to the Urban to Neighborhood Improvement Corp, that they expand their services too as well. As I think is the goal. But I'm glad that issue was raised, and thank you, Madam President, for having the representatives of those organizations here tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Got me in there. Yes.
You were so
I
excited.
was so excited. I couldn't wait to say good day. Yes.
We got great EDs with us today.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please let's move to Resolution 33 and read.
Resolution 33, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Training and Employment, contract amendment with Essex County College to provide education services to the out-of-school youth under the Workforce Investment Act, October 15, 2014 through June 15, 2015, additional amount not to exceed $60,000 grant funding.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Johnson,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Toro. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments?
No.
Mr. McInerney? No. Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Please read resolution number 34, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 34, temporary emergency appropriation from the State of New Jersey Department of State, New Jersey Council on the Arts for 15 local arts programs, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs, $124,836.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Sebo,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Vice President Gill. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes. Okay, let's move to resolution number 35. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 35, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs, approval of subgrant agreement for the 2015 Local Arts Program grant under the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, amount not to exceed $120,836.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Sebo,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments?
No.
Mr. McInerney? Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes. Okay, please, let's move to
So moved.
resolution 36. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 36, Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs contract with Weequahic Park Sports Authority to provide comprehensive recreation services and activity at Weequahic Park, March 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2017, amount not to exceed $168,000.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Richardson, seconded by Freeholder Sebo. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions?
No.
Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments on Resolution 36? No? Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Please read Resolution number 37, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 37, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs contract with Montclair Neighborhood Development Corp. to provide comprehensive recreational services and activities at Glenville Park, March 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2017. Amount not to exceed $129,999.90.
Thank you. Freeholders, have a motion and a second.
Move.
Move. You two are like NASCAR today, neck and neck. Moved by Freeholder Richardson, seconded by Freeholder Sebo. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
I don't.
You don't? Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholders, any questions or comments? And again, for the public, because I want you to understand, those are that home watching or those that are with us, we have already discussed these issues in length at last week's meeting, which is why you can see us move through our voting process, because it has already been vetted and discussed to great length. So with that said, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's move to resolution number 38.
Oh, we moved so fast, we forgot to do the 35. Okay. Resolution 38, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs contract with the North Ward Center to provide comprehensive recreational services and activities at the Branchbrook Park Athletic Field Complex, March 1st, 2015 through October 31st, 2017, amount not to exceed $138,666. $138,666.72.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebel,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Oh, you waited that time. Mr. Palavecchia, do you have any questions or comments?
Just to note that this contract carries from March 1st through October 31st, whereas the other contracts for recreational services are through the end of the year. I think it was explained last week that that's not a misprint and that the services just end before the winter begins.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney? No? Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Gill. Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Let's move to resolution number 39. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 39, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs contract with United Community Corporation to provide comprehensive recreational services and activities at Westside Park, March 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2017, amount not to exceed $129,999.90.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
We're doing four.
I'll move
Moved
it.
by Freeholder Siebel, seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Mr. Palavecchia, any questions or comments?
No.
Mr. McInerney? Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. And let's move to resolution number 40. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 40, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Professional Services Agreement to provide geographic art and design services. Iris Communications, one-year agreement from the date of award, $139,300.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebel. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Mr. Palavecchia, any questions or comments? Mr. McInerney, any questions or comments? At our previous meeting last week, Freeholder Luciano asked for a breakdown of the cost and asked that such breakdown scope be included in future materials provided to the board for conference meetings. Freeholder Luciano, that response was sent out on the 6th and received on the 11th. Is that confirmed?
Yes, I saw it. Thank you. Madam
Thank you.
President.
Freeholder Vice President Gill commented on the county's inadequate response to this past Monday, well, 2 Mondays ago, snowstorm, stating that we failed to measure up to the county's usual high standards, specifically Valley Road, Watchung Avenue, and Grove Street, Montclair. Memo was sent out and received on the 11th. And Freeholder Luciano echoed remarks about less than adequate snow removal and response. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? I would just like to say that, I have a great deal of respect for our snow removal department. I did get to go to the Office of Emergency Management, and I watched how our county executive actually spends the night during snowstorms and make sure that he's on call to make sure things happen. And I found that to be extremely impressive. That storm on Monday is the one that was referenced, how quickly we forget about, which storm are we talking about. It was snow and ice. And as soon as, you clean one street, it turned into ice, in a matter of seconds. So, you're up against forces of God, and every storm isn't going to be as perfect. But I know that it's a department that tries very hard and performs at a high level. And I think that storm was just something that we as human beings, were just incredibly inadequate in the area. So just wanted to put that on the record. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill. Absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay.
41.
Let's move to 41, please. Please read, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 41, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund to fund the South Mountain Recreation Complex landscaping improvement in the amount not to exceed $229,970.
Thank you. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Freeholder Luciano, seconded by Freeholder Siebold. He was quicker than me that time. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No, this is the authorization, Freeholders granting authorization to use the trust fund dollars in connection with the contract in the next resolution.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney? Okay, freeholders, any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please, let's move to Resolution 42. Please read.
Resolution 42, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Shager Property Services, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for landscape improvements along Orange Reservoir at the South Mountain Recreation Complex in the amount not to exceed $229,970.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson,
And Vice President.
seconded by Vice President Gill. Are you raising your hand for a question, or are you raising your hand for a second?
I'm raising my question, my answer.
Okay,
Okay.
so do I have a mover and a second? I have a mover, Freeholder Johnson, and
I'll second.
seconded by Freeholder Toro. Freeholder Vice, actually, Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions? Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Vice President Gill, your question?
Don't have a question, Madam President, but I would like to be added in the affirmative to Resolution 40.
Okay. Any questions or comments regarding Resolution 42? All right. Hearing no other questions or comments, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please move to Resolution number 43.
No.
Please read.
Was that withdrawn?
Yes, it is. Resolution number 43 was actually withdrawn by the administration. Let's move to Resolution 44.
Resolution 44, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Township of Bloomfield Ordinance Number 14-51, rescinding of left turn prohibition at the signalized intersection of Bloomfield Avenue, County Road 506, and Glenwood Avenue, Washington Streets.
Thank you. Freeholders do have a motion and a second. I
Move.
will move this one. Moved by Freeholder Toro. Do I have a second?
You can second.
Okay, second by Freeholder Johnson. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments?
No.
Mr. McInerney? Freeholders, any questions or comments? I just would like to know when's the earliest this is going to be implemented, because I wanted to turn there. I knew this was coming up on the agenda. I wanted to turn there this week. Hearing no other questions or comments, please read roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel. Yes. Freeholder Richardson. Yes. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Resolution number 47, please read.
Resolution 47, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, resolution authorizing the participation in the Cranford Police Cooperative Pricing System.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second? Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Luciano,
I'll second.
seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No.
Mr. McInerney, any questions? Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
48
withdrawn.
Yes, 48, Resolution 48 we've withdrawn. Let's move to Resolution 49.
Resolution 49, commendation, congratulations, the Board of Directors. Madam President, may I ask Freeholder Toro to help me with this one?
Absolutely.
My pleasure. Resolution number 49, commendation, congratulating the Board of Directors of Desfile Festival Cultural Dominicano del Condado de Essex on its swearing-in January 29, 2015, sponsored by Freeholders Bobadilla and Richardson.
Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
President,
Beautiful.
and Freeholder Toro.
You're welcome. Beautiful language. Freeholders, do I have a motion and
Move
a
it.
second? Moved by Freeholder Richardson.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Toro. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions or comments? No. Mr. McInerney?
None.
Okay, Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel. Yes. Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. So now we're going to move to the report of board committees. Freeholders, do we have any report of any board committees? Okay, hearing none. As you all know, we had our board meeting, our board committee meeting of affirmative action today. We discussed those issues in the beginning of today's meeting, and you'll have to go back and reference that if you want to know what happened, but definitely good stuff. So, do we have any legislative reports? Madam, no? All right. Are there any written communications? Okay. Freeholders, do you have any unfinished business? Hearing none. Freeholders, do you have any new business to discuss? Okay. Madam Clerk, let's go to public comment. If there's any member of the public that would wish to comment on any matter, please come forward to the microphone, state your name, address, and affiliation for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Madam President, chosen Freeholder, Douglas Freeman, Southwark 44th District Leader, and Southwark Community Youth Member. Just want to thank the administration, Freeholder President, and Freeholder Richardson for being the mediator between our community and Verizon. We came before you and asked for your help, and that's exactly what you did at our meeting. The professionalism that you showed, we can really see that the county is moving forward. And with your help and us being together and working together, we see that we can actually get some things done and to have some resolution and resolvement in the matters that we bring before you in this chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Are there any other members of the public that wish to come forward to speak?
Good afternoon, Madam President, the rest of the freeholders. My name is Hardy Freeman. I reside at 134 Vass Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. I would like to speak about potholes. We have many dedicated truck drivers. They work overtime. I'm not here to condemn nobody, but I'm here to add a few helpful things if I can. When you're plowing with the plow, I did it at a job where I used to work for Hess, and we would stay overtime, whatever, when the snowy days. And when the plow dropped, before the plow dropped down, well, after it dropped down, you got two arrows on the, two little flags on the right and left, and you kind of get a signal of how tall how the plow is. So if you see a plow coming down the road and it's tilted to the right, this is what caused the potholes. This would save millions of dollars in repairing the potholes. And the drivers, they're not at fault because they might not have been taught that. But back in the 70s, I took a bulldozer course. I was going to, I was in a hotel when President Nixon signed the bill. I was going to work on the Alaska pipeline, but I didn't go. But then at school, they show you how to keep from putting trenches in the ground or whatever with the bulldozers. That was in the 70s. And I retired from Hess Corporation after 24 years. We used to plow with the plows, and if you go to the right, you can guarantee it's going to be a pothole. And so I'm willing to work with anybody that would want me to tell them a few things or whatever. But I'm not here to condemn nobody. I'm just adding on to what I already know. Because it's my taxpayer, my tax money going towards the potholes also. That includes everybody. Your taxpayer money is going towards the potholes. And I wish back in 2011 I had a stroke, so I can't talk like I want to talk, but I'm trying to get it across. In fact, the doctor said I wouldn't be able to talk no more, but I'm here. So if you need anybody, need me to help out, tell somebody something, I'm willing to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman, and I'm glad that you have recovered with your stroke. You're doing very well, and you said what you said in a very eloquent manner. So that is something that we will certainly respond to in writing. We work for you, Mr. Freeman and Mr. Freeman. You know, we work for the taxpayers here at the county, and you know, your concerns are ours as well. So thank you so much for coming to the mic and bringing those concerns to be known. I understand what you're saying. Just level out the plow in the front. Level it out. If it's tilted, it's going to dig up the tar automatically. I understand what you're saying. So we will have the administration look into it and provide you an answer in writing to your address. Okay? Thank you. Are there any other members from the public that wish to speak on any issue at all? Okay. Let the record reflect, Madam Clerk, that there's no one else wishing to speak at this time. Yeah, Mr. Tedesco. Did we do all right? 2 minutes late. Yeah, I know. Was it my fault?
Technical difficulties.
We had technical difficulties. Oh, before the technical difficulties. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. I can always count on you. So, freeholders, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I'd like to make one through you, Madam Chair, and sort of piggyback on something that Freeholder Johnson pointed out in terms of the work that he did dissecting that 300-page report and really being prepared earlier at the committee meeting and here tonight. Kudos to you for taking the time to do that.
Thank you. That's my duty, and that's what I'm always going to do and work hard for you all and the constituents. Freeholders, do you have any other comments that you'd like to make? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.